Baby mother, things will be better tomorrow. He came into her life, told her how much he adored her. Sweet talks, big dreams.
You know, long I've heard this song, and it's such a powerful song. Love it. You believe it? Jamaica's birth rate has been gradually declining, and it's raising concerns about the country's future workforce and economic stability. So we have with us consultant sociologist and capacity building expert Georgia Crawford, who believes that actionable steps can be taken by the government to confront this looming population crisis. We're going to find out what is she saying. She joins us now. Hi, Georgia. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so very much for
Welcome.
Yes.
I mean, the conversation is everywhere. People trying to figure out why is the birth rate so low? Is two is better than too many still ringing true in Jamaican ears? Are there different issues happening? What do you think is the reason?
Well, I think first and foremost that it has become a fad, very popular to say that I'm not having children, you know, and we have always been a fad country, what is wearing, that sort of thing, and all of a sudden picnic now wear for various reasons. And, you know, it started when it was that we started having the feminist movement and that sort of cry for liberation, which was misconstrued and misinterpreted in terms of the fact that if you're a woman and you decide to have children now or to enter a relationship, then you automatically give away your power, that sort of thing. And then motherhood became this slippery slope into poverty. And then, of course, we must speak about the fact that many of the women who would be normally comfortable having children are no longer comfortable because they can't find the sort of spouses that they want to have children with. And, you know, that came from the marginalization of men. And we allowed the marginalization of men to continue for decades. We would have seen it in the schools where they were underperforming, and we didn't take actionable steps so that we could actually keep our men on par with our women. We just allowed it to go ahead as it was. And so now we are reaping, you know, what it is that we have sowed. But even though we know the reasons why we're here, we can't sit down and just continue to think about it and point the fingers and blame. We now have to get into solution mode, short term, medium term, and long term. And that is what I've been advocating for. I've been talking about it since last year. I am big on agenda setting. I believe we create the reality that we want to see in our country, in our lives, that sort of thing. And having been in the development space, I understand how important it is to push your agenda. And I have been pushing the agenda because I know that without children, the country suffers.
You mentioned fad.
Yes.
Fad sound like that mean it will change in another. Fad is like trend, right?
Yes.
So you think it's going to change?
I think it can change. I think
change, but going to change?
If it is that we do the right things, you know, values are so very, very important, and values are beliefs. And beliefs are influenced by what it is that is promoted, that what it is that is pushed onto us continuously. And what has been pushed onto the young persons and, you know, has been made popular is the fact that, as I said before, picnic now we're, you know, when it was that the article came out that spoke to the fact that we were having falling birth rates, there was a chorus of celebration among our women on social media. And I'm like, this is so very, very myopic. And yet they congratulated each other because it is not wearing. But the same way we actually changed the mindset, because there was a time when you were in a dance, you were bigged up as the mother. It was kick out your foot because you're a man mascot. And there's a part that says, hold up your hand because you have your baby. Look on your belly, marky. And so it was popular to show.
Yeah, but I hear women saying, but this is our choice, Georgia. I mean, things and times have changed, and it's hard now to have children, and we're young people. We have a different agenda. You said agenda setting.
Yes.
We have different goals. We want to own our homes. We want to, you know, build our careers. We don't want to be tied down and bogged down with children.
And that is a part of the mindset that needs to change, because, you know, things and time have changed, but the biology of man has not changed. You know, the reality is that people have needed people before, and people will need people going forward.
Correct.
And I tell you, for Jamaica, it is such a crisis situation because of the fact that we are a poor, small country, or a poorer. So we're not poor anymore. I want us to get rid of that notion, but we are poorer than many that have faced the crisis before. And so when it is that, you know, America and Italy and Japan, etc., they had the issue of, you know, low birth rates, they had the social networks that could actually facilitate decades maids and immigration so that they could get people in to help. We don't have that.
What do we have? What do we have? What kind of incentives are you hoping?
Well, I am hoping that first and foremost, we will have an incentive for just having children for those who are trying to have children. So that's the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
For those persons who are having fertility issues, and we have had a vast increase in fertility issues that nobody wants to talk about because it is linked to Big Pharma, but there is this problem. And so for those who are now spending millions that they can't afford and so they have to stop, let's start with them because there's no mindset change that is needed for those who are trying.
Right.
So let us now start to help them. So let's start with that. Then we start talking to the mothers because we really do have to listen to the women. They have been saying, hey, I want to own a home and I'm finding that, I can't afford it if it is that I'm going to have a child right now, that sort of thing. Let's start giving incentives. NHT already has grants for different persons, as it relates to ownership. Let's now expand it to our new mothers or persons who are trying, or mothers who are trying to get homes. Let's talk about the fathers as well. Yeah, the big problem we're having as well is that many of the fathers have not stood up to the responsibilities, and we have not ensured that as a government, the laws have this sort of teeth. So you carry him to family court and him say he must pay, and him just don't pay, and that is fine. And a father believe that him can just escape. That sort of thing. So we need to change that sort of mindset, but also a baby bonus is nothing. There's nothing wrong with saying that there is a bonus if you have a new child because you have a huge expense that comes with it. And then, of course, for the mothers, the burden of childcare for a mother of a newborn and to go back to work after 3 months, it is very, very hard. So let us talk about 3 days work week. If it is that you're a new mother for the first year, 3 days work week. And so you have 2 days that you can stay home and you're still paid and you can nurture the child and you can get that sort of time off, right? So those things I think the government can do, but a big part of it has to be, 1, the changing mindset, and 2, the people.
Yeah, super progressive. I don't know if we're ready.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ready.
But one of the things I'm hearing in what you're saying, which is a part of the conversation, is mothers are saying, I can't manage.
Yes.
If I have a child now, first time you live in a community and, Auntie Granny, somebody's going to take care of the child. But no, people are working longer. We're not retiring at 60 now and at home so they can take care of a child. They're living. So things are changing. So I think, I think you've gotten to some of the mindset.
Yes.
Change.
But we also have to manage the things that we have changed. Because when we say things are changing, we have to remember that we have created many of these changes. We have become so insular as people that we have destroyed the village, many of us. That as soon as it is that you have a question or a conversation or just an issue with your auntie, you stop talk to her, full stop. And everybody's a woman, hear me roar. Nobody can't actually have any sort of conversation.
But a woman can't whisper.
Yes, anymore. And so you're done with the one day. And so everybody's toxic. And so then you end up with no support. But people still need people.
Georgia, why are we blowing the whistle, or why are we shouting so loudly now? Because people are watching saying, where's the fire? Where's the fire? The truth is our population is aging out.
It is.
And if we're looking at surveys, the Reproductive Health Survey from 2021 said that our fertility rate as a country has fallen from 4.5 births per female between 73 and 75 to 1.9 in
less than
2021.
2. And that is a big problem, less than 2. If it is that the population is to remain stable, we need each woman to have 2 children. And when we say each woman, in terms of what the statistics is, so if someone has 4 and you have, 1, then that sort of thing is still sort of balances out. But we're not doing that. And we think it's just a macro problem because it's going to impact the country, but it's going to impact us. Because if we have no people, then we have no caregivers when you're elderly. And remember, as you said, we're living longer, but we're not living healthy longer. So we're just dying slower. And there will be nobody to help us, so as nurses, as caregivers, for those who are disabled. We'll have nobody to help our disabled either. Our pension plan is already very meager. It is going to disappear. So we don't have the social networks, and in 10 years, bitter is going to be the harvest. And so that is why persons are saying, let's do something to out the fire. We have to do something now, right? And it is more glaring for us because we just don't have the money.
And so should
Well, if you look at that little cutie,
I know. But not everybody wants a little cutie. So should
Look at it.
But you know, that's the other part about not everybody wanting little cutie. It's not true because the biology, as I said, has not changed. So there is the yearning, and they talk about a biological clock.
Georgia,
it happens to all.
Not everybody
the
have it.
majority of women feel it.
There are some women watching, who are saying, "What is this woman talking about?" Like, look, so
There's the cutie. Yes.
So I have one child.
Yes.
And there are people who will say to me, there's a lady who said to me, "What are you doing to Erin? One picnic and a picnic?
Yes.
Do you know how you're traumatizing her?" But I don't want another child.
Yes, but what has
because I haven't given her a sister or a brother.
But what has led to the decision? So what happens, is that we have now gotten to a place that there are other things that we believe supersede the yearning. So it is not that you're against children, but it's when it is that we have reasoned it out based on what it is that we have thought about and what we have been taught.
Some of us don't have the yearning.
No, but when you say some of us don't have the yearning, we're talking about 10% in comparison to the 90%, and so there's going to be a 15%. They're going to be outliers. But the biology, the fact that even when it is that the womb is empty, it starts to grow cancer, it is because the womb was made to grow children. And so when it is absent, these things happen. So I'm saying many times we believe that the beliefs can supersede the biology, but the reality of man has not changed.
Should we also begin to be a little bit more open about other types of ways that people become parents? I find that I meet a lot of women or families who say we'd like to adopt, for example, but it's so difficult to do. And when you talk about the process nowadays in America, people are freezing their eggs, they're doing surrogacy, but I don't think we have that conversation enough here. Because I do meet a lot of women who are at the age where biologically they cannot have children, but feel that I'm at a place financially that I can support a child, but they just cannot get a child.
Remember when we spoke to the doctor here up at UA? There's a center for women.
To
donate
their eggs. Yes.
For fertility.
Yes.
I was shocked.
Yeah, there is.
So probably we need to have more conversations about that as well.
But it's not even just the conversations, but the changes. Because one of the things that we do sometimes in Jamaica is that we speak these things to death, and nobody actually actions. So a simple thing like adoption, the biggest issue we had was that the law said that women who have abandoned their children still have their parental right, and so you can't adopt that child that is in the home. That is one parliamentary hearing. We have pushed through laws quicker for smaller things. So things of the sort has to change. But I think the biggest problem we have is the mindset, is the fact that we have celebrated and now pushed this sort of view that you should not be having children, that it is a slippery slope to poverty. And I'm saying I have 3 children, and my life has gotten better since having my children. My mother had far less than I had, and she had 5. Good picnic, I know we have little things, but good picnic for the most part. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And in comparison, we better than him. As a person, I tremble him all the time.
I totally didn't even hear it.
Yes, and like I said, all of the girls. There's one boy, there's all of the girls.
I'm never here.
My mother loved us more.
Wow.
But those things have happened, and they were able, and many of your parents as well. I think we do a disservice to our parents when we speak about parenthood, as if our parents didn't give us
the best they had.
They had. And I grew up poor and so very happy and loved. And many of us who are talking now are saying that if I have a child, now my life would be destroyed. Your children had you, and you brought joy to their lives. Their lives weren't destroyed.
Georgia, that sound you're hearing is the director saying.
That's right.
Simone and I.
Have children.
Going to be this can't pay for the children if we don't cut this.
Yes.
Thank you, my
The pleasure is mine.
Consultant sociologist and capacity building expert, Georgia Crawford.
Morning, Damien Crawford. After the break, we'll hear about the Kiwanis Big Up Grace program. Smarting on the Vex today. Wow! Wow! Relating to him proper.
Hush, baby mother, things will be better tomorrow.